For 1.8 million graduates, it's going to be big dreams and big debt. I'm joined by CNN political analyst Roland Martin and Aaron Smith, co-founder and executive director of Young Invincibles. It's an advocacy group for kids 18 to 35 years old. Now, Roland, student debt. The conventional wisdom is these kids are drowning in it. 94% of undergrads borrow now. They've got some 20,000 plus in debt. But Roland, I've written about this and I've reported about this. That should be manageable once people get a job.
Right. It should be. And there's a thing I believe, Christine, called good debt. And that is this college degree is putting you in a position to be able to get a job, to earn a certain amount of income. I think you have to look at this thing over a 10-year period, and that is this. And that's how I looked at it. I came out of college with about $30,000 worth of debt, and that was in 1991. And so if you say over a 10-year period, if you have an average salary of about $40,000, and that's adjusted for, growth over that period. You're talking about $400,000 gross that you would earn in a 10-year period based upon a $20,000 student loan. If you went out and got a car that was a $25,000, $30,000 car note, you're going to lose value in that car. And so I think we have to look at student debt in a different way, but it must be manageable and not some crazy $100,000, $150,000 for a typical bachelor's degree.
And let's be clear, that's the 1% of the 99% of kids who are getting student debt, the ones with hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Precisely.
Aaron, I want to lay out the job situation here because the issue is once you get a job, you can start to pay the debt. But we know a Rutgers University survey found just over half of recent college grads are working full time. And Gallup says, Aaron, 1 in 3 18 to 29-year-olds in the workforce was underemployed, meaning they were doing a job that they were underqualified. They could be doing something much, much bigger. President Obama is calling for your generation, to fight for a seat at the table. But your generation is seen as generation entitled, complaining about debt that should be an investment and kind of waiting for the right job to come around and picking majors that the economy maybe doesn't favor anymore.
Well, we just finished a 21-state bus tour, hitting over 43 different campuses, and we talked to graduates all across the country. And absolutely, the economy is brutal, but the optimism that you suggested is definitely out there. I mean, this is a generation that we've done polling is fine. They want to work hard. They know education pays off and is a key to success. But I absolutely agree that the college is still a good investment. But the question is, at what point does the cost really start to work against graduates? We are seeing tuition that's going up 3 times since 1980. It's just not sustainable.
Yeah, and
but you know what, Christine, though? I think we need to be honest about something as well. You hit a critical point. And when you said, what is your major? People have to study, and I believe as a high school sophomore, junior, and senior, what are the available jobs in America? Where are the areas where you're going to have growth? Also, where are you going to have people who are retiring? And you have to say, what is my major and what is the profession I'm going in? Well, and not just that, does my profession require a master's degree as well? Because I know lots of students who are going to get masters who don't need them, and they're incurring more debt.
And you're right about that. The economy, though, is changing so quickly. We don't do a good enough job of telling kids what the prospects are out there. We also still have this feeling in America that we're the leader in the world, and college is a place to find yourself, to be a well-rounded person, and then to enter into a dynamic labor market that's going to embrace you. And that's just not the way it is now.
I hate that phrase. I hate that whole notion of looking for yourself, because while you are looking for yourself, you're spending either your parents' money or you are trying to get more loans going into debt. I also believe, Christine, that on the high school level, we've got to staff up aggressively when it comes to advising people. Also, taking advantage of people who are in the industries right now who can say, no, here's the appropriate advice that you need. I knew I was going to be a journalist. I knew that my industry did not require a master's degree. And so I said, look, get my BS and then get in the workforce versus incurring more debt.
Aaron, let me bring you in because we see all this optimism from your generation. And one thing that HR experts and demographers tell me is that your generation doesn't know you can't do it. You also don't have mortgages and kids and a lot of other responsibilities. So you can be more mobile and nimble and you are the first real generation in the workforce who was born tech savvy. Do you think those are things that are, we're looking at you with Generation X eyes here?
Well, I mean, you're right. There's tremendous potential for this generation because they are so tech savvy, because they're so entrepreneurial. There's a lot going in our favor. At the same time, we have these concerns that we're not investing in this generation in the same way that we have in the past. And hitting on the point about information, there's a total information gap. Young people don't necessarily know where the jobs are, and they're not being provided. A lot of schools are cutting guidance counselors, and those are the people who should be providing that information.
You can watch here every weekend to find out where the jobs are and what they pay, because we do this over and over again. And I think another really important point here, fellas, is that kids can take on as much debt as they possibly can. I mean, you could not buy a car with less scrutiny or a house with less scrutiny. You couldn't even apply for a job with less scrutiny than it is for just loading up on student debt. So all of those things are really important factors here. Thank you so much for joining both of us. Have a great weekend, guys.
Thanks so much.